A funny thing happened on the way to the Coliseum.
Okay, now is everybody got their coffee, got their thinking caps on? I'm going to recap from the first funny thing happened on the way to the Coliseum. Now, first off, I have to say this. That is, I did not invent that string of words. I have to give that, as best I can remember, to Abbott and Costello. Part of their old shtick from vaudeville, so to speak. And it's just stuck with me, and it came back to mind, actually, because the funny thing happened on the way to the Coliseum was always an intro to a story or a shtick that they were going to do. And but the really over the top funny part is that it's referencing the days of Nero and even the Constantine in his early days, where they were taking Christians to the Coliseum. So, they were going out and gathering them up and burning them at the stake and all that kind of stuff. And Constantine continued to do so after 331 AD, when his edict was, and he was the one in charge of the Roman, what's now the Roman Catholic Church at the time. He said that anybody that wasn't coming under the authority of the church would be arrested, burned, have their property seized, and all this other bad stuff. So you see, it's kind of a funny thing that happened on the way to the Coliseum. We might want to talk about the possibilities of Christ's future return, getting closer and closer. But I'm going to tell you what, this is just my way of reminding us of that. Because the things that were happening back then, well, they won't hold a candle to what's going to be happening in the near future. But let's get on to it. In the first one, the first funny thing happened on the way to the Coliseum, I was led to and began in Revelation 17 and the mystery Babylon, the great whore. Now remember, this is the mystery Babylon, not the old Babylon sitting out on the plains of Shinar. This is the mystery Babylon that is sitting on a beast that is held up by, I'll get to that in a minute. Because last time I put out in plain sight that the great whore is the Roman authority. This is based on the 7 hills that the Vatican is seated on. But then, I also talked about the bloods of the saints, and that was explored just a little bit. I just mentioned a little bit a minute ago. And I added to that the beast she sat on has been and will be of the spirit of the Antichrist. What? Christian church completely controlled by the spirit of the Antichrist? That can't be. Well, he only has to control the leadership. The rest of the little good doobies will follow right along like ducks after their mama, swimming across the pond. I mean, it's in the oath that they swear when they get their hands laid on them. Anyway, but I closed it off with the revelation that the 7 mountains were not just the 7 little hills beneath the Vatican, but these hills were made into mountains through the heaping up of the 7 deadly sins that suspend her. Okay, and now to continue reading from Revelation chapter 17 at verse 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth king. And of the seven, being of the seven, and going into perdition. Now I added that king. I'll explain that to you here in just a minute. Because you see, these kings appear to be major empires and governmental archetypes spanning the entire known age, all the way back to at least Nimrod. However, even as they are propelled by the same thoughts of men and self-assumed powers aimed at total control over mankind, they tend to repeat using the same old stir stick time after time. Seizure, conquer, deceive the people into slavery, time after time. Same story. And time after time, their season of control is cut short. That is until number 8 shows up. He's going to have something just a little bit different going on. And basically, it's going to be like everything is going to perfectly fall in place. And it's just going to be that it has to be God allowing this. So he must be the Messiah, is what people are going to think anyway. But yeah, this one will be a charismatic personality plus, and uniquely will be authorized by the whore of Mystery Babylon herself, as was mentioned earlier back in the text. Let's get back to Revelation. And the 10 horns which thou saw, the pages are sticking together here. Okay. Which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength to the beast. Okay, a little commentary here. That the beast had 10 horns, let's see, which were kings without kingdoms, at least anyway at the time of John when he was writing this. But after the fall of the Roman Empire, that is when they all came about. However, these will follow in the rule of, and as they did or will support, the whore of Mystery Babylon, probably not knowing the depth of the untrue spirit behind her, nor in the future that is near know the power of the Lord. Back to Revelation again. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, and the King of kings. And they that are with him are called, and chosen, and faithful. Oh boy, I tell you, thank you, Lord. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate, and naked, and eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. The Lord will overcome them. That is important for us all to know. The Lord will overcome. He will overcome. He will overcome all these challengers that rule over earth. Remember that these 10, they were of one mind, and they will hate their master, the grand puppeteer of puppeteers, the whore of Babylon mystery. And so they will destroy her. But by the Lord's hand shall this be done. Remember also that the waters here, in here, represent all the peoples and the nations of earth that are setting under her spells of iniquity and believing in her abominations. These followers are duped. They believe that by following in her ways and her teachings, they are doing the will of God. But they are mistaken. Hopefully, the Lord will wash away or wash their souls of all this deception, that they may be salvaged. Now, on the next,
A funny thing happened on the way to the Coliseum.
we will begin going into Revelation 18, which is a continuance and adds to, as with all prophecy, a little here, a little bit more over there, gets added to a little bit there. Now, but I have to say this, with the ending of this part 2, I have to say this in absoluteness. In Revelation 18, there is a verse that reads, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that ye not receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities." Just another sign of the times, ladies and gentlemen. Just another sign of the times. For now, it's B.D. Baker, and I'm going to tell you, I'm hoping to see you at the wedding.